For all the jaw-dropping performances, the endless media coverage, and the almost supernatural hype surrounding Victor Wembanyama, one lingering mystery remains. Just how tall is this once-in-a-lifetime NBA prospect? The official reports say 7 feet 3 inches, but from what we've seen with our own eyes, from photos, videos, and head-to-head comparisons, that number seems at best a gross understatement. Welcome to today's deep dive. I'm Troy, and you're watching the Half Court Report. Before we get started, make sure to smash that thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so you can stay in the loop with some of the best NBA content on YouTube. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Marilyn Dinsky over at MSN.com put together an article that tackles this exact topic, the ongoing debate surrounding Wembanyama's height. And honestly, the issue is starting to reach a boiling point. The NBA's official roster list for the 2023 to 2024 season listed Wembanyama at 7 feet 3 inches, but then mysteriously the following season, that number was reduced by a full inch. Now listed at 7 feet 2 inches, the question remains, did the towering Frenchman shrink over the offseason? Unlikely. If we're being honest, it seems more like the NBA's figures are underreporting Wembanyama's actual size. And then, as much as the league would like to keep things under wraps, some of the biggest names in the game are catching on. Take Giannis Antetokounmpo, for example. The Greek freak, standing at 6 feet 11 inches himself, has publicly stated that Wembanyama is more likely closer to 7 feet 4 or 7 feet 5. But it's not just the MVP caliber players who are raising an eyebrow at Wemby's true dimensions. Fans and analysts alike are beginning to uncover startling new evidence. The first smoking gun comes from a seemingly ordinary team photo from March 2025, in which we see Wembanyama standing next to teammate Charles Bassey. Now, Bassey is listed as 6 feet 10 inches, but when you line him up with Wembanyama, something doesn't quite add up. Bassey's head, which aligns with the top of Wembanyama's mouth, provides a key clue. Now, human skulls typically make up about 1/8 of a person's total height, so when you factor in the length of Wembanyama's head, around 11 inches, you quickly start to calculate a much taller figure than the one currently listed by the NBA. Taking into account the height of Bassey, 6 feet 10 inches, the math brings Wembanyama's true height to roughly 7 feet 6 inches, maybe even a little more, but we don't have to stop there. Let's get some additional real-world validation from some of the most iconic figures in Spurs history. Picture this: Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and Wembanyama all together in a video clip. Duncan, a 6 feet 11-inch powerhouse, and Robinson, listed at 7 feet, seem dwarfed by the towering Wembanyama, who clearly stands above them by a noticeable margin. Sure, Robinson is no spring chicken, and we know age tends to shorten a player's stature. But even if you factor in some potential height loss over time, Wembanyama is still notably taller by at least 3 to 4 inches. In fact, some commenters are wondering whether there's any compound or medical intervention that could halt his growth altogether. After all, while Wembanyama's talent is out of this world, there's no guarantee that his body will be able to keep up with his ambitions. The idea of halting growth may sound far-fetched, but in an age where medical science continues to make massive strides, it's not entirely out of the question. But let's leave the fears about his health aside for a second. Let's entertain a more entertaining, if somewhat outlandish, suggestion. Why not list him at 8 feet 10 inches? Imagine the intimidation factor. Can you picture the sheer terror on the faces of opponents when they realize they're about to square off against a literal giant on the basketball court? It might not be the most honest approach, but it would certainly make every player think twice before driving to the basket. At the end of the day, though, it's clear that we may never know Wembanyama's exact height unless the NBA gets its act together and updates their numbers. With so many discrepancies between different sources, and with even the players themselves giving their 2 cents, One thing is for certain, Victor Wembanyama is an anomaly. Whether he's 7 feet 3 inches, 7 feet 5 inches, or 7 feet 7 inches, this much is clear. He's a generational talent whose true height may only be rivaled by his potential. So, what do you think? Have you seen the pictures? Is Wembanyama even taller than the NBA's official numbers suggest? Drop a comment, hit that like button, and let's keep the conversation going. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to do so for more in-depth NBA analysis coming your way. You don't want to miss what's next.